Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
Oh, I think I like the fall time of the year.
You do. You like weather reports.
Well, I like that blend when it's warm but not hot, cool but not cold.
Sure.
And I find that the fall kind of provides that kind of nice blend where it's comfortable to be outside, but it's not too cold. It's not too breezy. It's not too sweltering hot. So, and being outside at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning is pleasurable.
It is nice.
Around here in the summertime, if you want cool weather, well, you got to be out at 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
to find weather, at or below 80 degrees in the summertime. So, I don't know. Again, just kind of a weird observation. So,
fall is nice.
It is. Well, so would you say that your life is traditionally, at this point, going well? You feel like life's pretty happy?
I'm happy.
Content?
Are there things that I don't think are going well? Sure, but I think overall I'm happy.
Okay, all right. Well, the reason why I ask, I'm studying and I'm about ready to take my counselor's exam.
Awesome.
And I'm very nervous and also very excited for it to be over because I've been working on it for a couple of months now. And so as I'm going through my studies and my review work, I but ran into some stuff by one of the theorists by the name of Carl Jung.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he's a Swiss psychiatrist, going back to the late 1800s to the mid, I think he was born in the 1870s and then died in the 1960s.
Okay.
So go way back. And this guy knew Freud. So, like I say, goes way back. And part of the stuff I was reading about was that he says that our personality or our personas can serve as beacons of wisdom.
Okay.
Guiding us on a journey of self-discovery and transformation.
All right.
And through that, I ran into an article that identified basically his ideas of 5 things that can contribute or help make for a happy life.
Okay.
And I got thinking, well, wouldn't everybody like to have a happy life? And it got me thinking, okay, well, how would you describe a happy life?
Same as everybody else. Win the lottery and do whatever I want.
Okay. So money is a factor of a happy life.
Isn't it?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Well, if I could do whatever I want, wouldn't I just be happy all the time?
Maybe.
I see a lot of billionaires out there. They're out there saying and doing whatever they want. They seem like they're happy.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Or maybe not.
Well, I don't know. The Beatles sang a song that said the opposite, can't buy, they said can't buy me love. Doesn't mean you can't buy happiness.
Right.
I don't know. Can money make you happy? Is money the key to happiness?
I think happiness is a really personal thing, right? Like, it just depends what you think happiness is for you.
Oh, okay.
But then again, I think there are elements that of our own life, right, that can be universal or can universally lead us to happiness, no matter who we are, whether we believe it or not.
Okay. I get that, because I would say that what makes me happy now isn't probably what made me happy 20 years ago.
Just as an example, right? Like, I have been fat and happy.
Okay.
But I am also much thinner now.
True, you are.
And I am happier than I was. And maybe I wouldn't have thought that, right? Like just sitting around eating whatever I want and doing the things I want to do, which didn't always include exercise. In fact, hardly ever.
Yeah.
I thought I was happy.
Okay.
But now that I've changed that, I find that I'm much happier now than I was. And so.
Okay.
I think sometimes we can think we're happy.
Okay.
But we're not.
Uh-huh. And sometimes maybe we need to be exposed to something or change something within our life.
That word change that everybody loves.
Oh.
Right? We all love change.
Yeah, not really.
Can't wait to do it.
No.
I mean, when it means making more money at another job, I'm all excited about it.
Yeah.
But that other job might not be the best place for me either. So it might that money might not be bringing me the happiness I had hoped.
So the grass is not always greener on the other side, is what
sometimes
I hear
it's
you say.
Blue. Sometimes it's blue, right? Like in that Oregon team that has like the blue grass on there, or Idaho.
Oh,
the college team.
Boise State.
Boise State has blue grass on their field. Sorry, Oregon. The fans of the Ducks or whatever they are gonna be mad at me.
Oh well, yeah. Hey, but they're Ducks.
Hey,
I had a political thought that just ran through my head that I decided, well, let's stay away from that.
That won't make anybody happy, so we won't talk about that.
Okay. Well, going back to Jung, he was saying that happiness is not necessarily about our transparent or transient pleasures. He said, rather, it's more about uncovering deep-rooted meaning.
Okay.
Meaning in life, possibly. And so, as I was reading through this, I go, okay, I kind of get this. And I think that maybe this is where age changes your perspective.
Okay.
I can think back that when I was in college, I was always working hand to mouth type jobs, never really had the money to save.
Sure.
And I was jealous of friends that had full-time jobs, making good money, and they got to do what I thought was fun. And man, their life looked really good. They seemed pretty happy.
Sure.
Well, I graduate, I get a job, get married, and suddenly I'm making money, but dang, I was a little happier, but I still wasn't happy. And I kept thinking, well, if I had more and more, I might be happier.
Sure.
Until I realized that chasing money, well, that was a never-ending race that you could never win. And so
I feel like Jeff Bezos won, but
well, yeah, that's true.
Soon after that, his marriage failed.
Yeah.
And he lost at least half of what would maybe be considered his happiness at that point.
Well, maybe his transient desires got in the way.
Maybe.
So what I kind of understood as I was reading through this and thinking, like I said, going through all the stuff, the test review for my big exam, it kind of made a little bit of sense. And so one of the key, and you kind of brought this up, one of the key things that can lead to us having a happier life is having a good physical health. Mm-hmm. And tied with physical health is our mental health.
Sure.
And so, I mean, we have talked multiple times. We've done a variety of episodes where we talk about the benefit of exercise, that the chemical change in our brains can make us happy, even though we're oh my God, I'm dying over here because I've exercised for the last half hour. I'm ready to pass out from exhaustion. But are you actually a little happier because you've worked out some of that anger, some of that stress, some of that frustration, anxiety?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have colleagues that do this, right? One particular that does boxing.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And if you met her, you wouldn't think she was a boxer, but she does that, and that's part of the way that she's expressed that she can get out some a little bit of aggression. Right. And not that she's an aggressive person. Right.
Right.
Just everybody has some kind of pent up energy that they need to get out. And that's a way to do that. Right. And it makes you feel good in the end that you got something out there, and instead of holding it in. And, a lot of times this frees us up in our mind so that we don't have to be thinking about a lot of the negative thoughts that we have.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know this might sound a little morbid, but when you make out a will, you are in sound mind and body.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Well, they make you declare that as a statement. I don't know how accurate or how honest I maybe have been, but but I think the idea is there.
Right.
And, go back to what you were saying earlier, that you used to think you were happy when you were sitting on the couch watching the TV tube, eating a bowl of ice cream. And
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still happy when I do that. I just don't do it as often because it will lead me to a different place of unhappiness later.
Right. And so, but you discovered that when you put the bowl down and went for the walk, or went down to the gym and started working out a little bit, you came to an understanding that you're a little bit happier now than what you were. And so I think that's kind of what the idea is that if we can, I mean, you don't have to be a peak physical shape.
No, I think exercise puts you in just a different physical place where you have, where you're getting your mind, because it involves every part of you, right? I mean, so you might be lifting weights or doing a run, but your mind is free to, think about things, or you just get kind of a mindfulness thing going on. I just think that your focus changes. I don't know all the scientific stuff behind it, right?
Me either.
I do it and I feel better.
There you go.
And the more I do it, the more I feel better, and the more physical improvements I see as time goes on.
Yes.
And the better everything gets. So
yes, I've been trying to do my morning walk. I've now added a bit of a stretching and work out a little bit before the walk, provided I wake up early enough. But I do feel better. I feel a little more energetic. And as you were saying, you get out some of that frustration or that stress that's built up.
Sure.
I feel tired a little, I feel a little exhausted, but I do feel mentally more alert.
Right.
So anyway, so again, good.
So get some exercise, be physically and mentally healthy.
Yes. All right. So the second suggestion was have a good, happy life includes having good personal and intimate relationships with other people.
Right.
And I think we've talked about this as well, that your ability to connect with people. I think humans, by our very nature, we are needing to be around other people. I don't think we do.
I've read many psychology-related books recently that all of them suggest that we need to be in a relationship with other people, that we are social beings intended to be that way, no matter how you decide that we were created or evolved or whatever, that's how we are. And so things like COVID that shut us down and kept us from other people really damaged us in our mental health, because we need to be connected to other people. I mean, you just think about, places you've worked in the past and the jobs you've had and the people that you've associated with or socialized with in those spaces and times. Those are, you can always pick out the good ones and the ones that you remember. Maybe you're still friends with them. I mean, some of those are the ones that kept you going to work.
Oh,
so
yes.
There's an uplifting piece to that. There's, of course, the opposite.
Yeah.
Right. And we all have seen things about toxic relationships and, getting yourself out of them or staying away from people who are that way. I mean, I just think that we are social. And so, doing whatever we can to have those good relationships is important. Now, you're the counselor kind of a person, so I don't have a clue, right? Like,
well, but I wouldn't say you don't have a clue. I'd say absolutely you do. We work with people. We work with kids. We watch their interactions. I mean, we have our own way of doing things, but we also watch and observe young people. And one of the things, we've been talking about this in my classes, because we've been talking a lot about government has been stepping up their pressure on social media companies and their products as far as making them putting in more child-proofing restrictions because of the damage that is doing, the isolation that is providing for young people. It's luring them in, and then it's isolating them. And we've had some really, really good conversations in class, and the kids admit that, yes, they are addicted to their phones and that it does isolate them for a period of time. And when we talk about it, they go, well, yeah, it does have a negative impact. And those that have been able to put their phones down have said that and engage with other people, it does improve their mood. It improves, their overall satisfaction with life.
Yeah, I mean, one of the recent books that I read suggested that, that we go through these times sometimes where we're like, oh, I'm going to take a break, right? Like I'm going to fast from social media or something like that. And they're actually suggesting that while that works for a period, right? It's sort of like dieting.
Yeah.
Right. Like you go on a diet, and then as soon as you come off the diet, you're right back where you were before. And so that's what happens oftentimes with people who do like that. I'm going to take the 2-week break and then I'm going to come right back. And instead, we should create some kind of a discipline where we're moderating what we're doing and building how we use social media around our values of who we want to be and what we believe and things like that. So I don't think that cutting out social media altogether or doing any of that is the right thing for kids or adults. I do think that we've always used government to provide some protections.
Sure.
Right. Like we have Food and Drug Administration, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to walk into the store and buy poison to eat. And so we don't necessarily want our kids to have access to cigarettes.
True.
Right. But we allow adults to do it. So, there's probably some things there where we could institute those kinds of safeguards. But ultimately, we need to learn how to regulate ourselves with these things.
And I'm not advocating getting rid of social media or cell phones or all of that. I'm just using that as an example that when we can have good relationships. Yeah. You and I have talked about this both on air and off as to why we like working where we do. And it's not necessarily the institution, it's the people that we get to work with.
I just tend to believe that social media generates a toxicity in relationships because you don't have to be real.
Yes.
And instead having limited connection to the right people is better.
Yes.
So,
and again, the relationships that we have, life, as we were saying just a bit ago, life's about relationships, and the stronger and healthier those relationships are with our spouses, with our family, with our friends, makes life a lot happier.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. So the next one that was discussed is being able to recognize beauty in art, beauty in nature. And I don't know that art is necessarily paintings or sculptures. I think it could include music. I think it could include books. I think it could include, TV and movies. I love reading books. I love watching TV, great shows, going to the movies. But being able to, well, as Jung said, it's providing food for the soul.
Yeah. I think whatever uplifts you, whatever draws you out, whatever tries to make you think of yourself and, how you can be better. Right.
Mhm.
I mean, we talk about people always want change in the world, but we never want to change us. And Michael Jackson reminded us to look at the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right? Start there is what he was saying, and that's just something that many people have said throughout history. Right? We need to focus on ourselves, and then out of that change will come the example, and people will notice it, and they'll do the same thing. It takes a long time. Like we like change and we want it to be quick, but it doesn't work that way. Art and nature and all that stuff is very slow. It's very deliberate, in its creation and in its presentation. It's, a lot of this is in the eye of the beholder. I may not think that beauty is exactly what you think it is.
Sure.
Right. I certainly that's the case for me with art. Like sometimes I look at art and I go, my 2-year-old could have made that. I don't understand why that's worth $1 million, but it is to somebody. And so that's just the nature of the market. Right. But because somebody else thinks it's beautiful, they see something in it. And I agree. I think getting out there, I mean, in the summertime when we have time off, I like to get out and see the countryside and go to different places and see stuff and experience new things.
When we went to Alaska, going up there and they call it the natural state for a reason, and seeing all the mountains, the glaciers, the waterfalls. When we were in Hawaii, and just the clear blue water when we went snorkeling, it was like swimming in a fish tank. I mean, it was just fantastic. And I love being outside, again, when it's not super sweltering hot or freezing cold. But which I guess is why I enjoy the fall time and the springtime.
Right.
The changing of the colors, being able to enjoy being outside, because there is so much to see, and in the beauty that is around us if we take the opportunity to not only look at it, but to appreciate it for what it is.
Definitely.
And it can. I have found that it does kind of make me happy. I mean, I don't know that going to the Dallas Museum of Art necessarily makes me happy, but it doesn't make me sad.
It doesn't. But it also, opens up the thinking of the creative side of your mind.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we need art. We need music. We need all those things. They all calm us. They all, inspire us. They do those things. And so we can't be without it.
Oh, true.
Which is why, when in places in the country where they're removing it from education is terrible.
Oh.
Or where they're shutting down funding. I mean, government should be funding these things so that we can still have them.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
And there's other parts of the world where they do that because they have old stuff.
Yeah.
Right? In this country, we don't have anything that's 1,000 years old, so we don't have as much appreciation for that.
No, not unless maybe you head out to.
But someday we will, and if we don't preserve what we have, it won't be there.
True. So go see the Grand Canyon while you can.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, the next one, and we kind of already hit on this, was having a standard of living that is both reasonable and attainable, as well as having satisfactory work. And I will admit that I was addicted to materialism. When I met my ex-wife, Eric's mother, we both agreed that more stuff was better. And we acquired a whole bunch of stuff. And it wasn't until I went through the divorce and we went our separate ways that I discovered that I didn't need all that stuff to be happy. And I changed my standard of living, and amazing how that had a positive impact on how I felt.
Right.
And so when Jung is saying, have a reasonable standard of living and have a satisfactory work, life, I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like working with the people that I work with.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I enjoy being in education. I don't think I would have been doing it for the last 23 years if I didn't.
Probably not.
So,
most people quit after 5 or so years. So
because it's not for them.
Sure.
And so I think that when you can, I think having a job that you like can indeed make you happy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it contributes to it. I don't know if that in itself makes you happy, but I think to some extent you have to be happy with yourself without any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best situation, right? Then you could find yourself being happy in almost every place.
Mm-hmm.
But, because external forces will impact that happiness, but it won't remove it completely. But
sure.
I think that obviously you want to work somewhere where you feel good, right? You don't want to walk into your workplace every day and find somebody yelling at you and screaming at you and,
yeah.
telling you all the bad and wrong things you've ever done.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you.
Nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants that in their relationship at home. No, but so you've got to find a place where you can be that you like being there.
Yeah.
And it inspires you to be better and produce something that's going to make you happy.
Well, and I think that your standard of living that you set for yourself is influenced by the job you have. We're both professional educators. We are not at the top end of the pay scale for our education level.
We are not.
But
I came in too late.
Yeah. I will say that I'm not on the poverty line and I'm not eating at a soup kitchen. So we'll thank the dear Lord for that. But I have a comfortable lifestyle and the job affords me a comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I would say that there's balance to that. Which brings us to the final one that he discusses, and that is having a philosophy or a philosophical or religious outlook.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jung, I don't believe, was a very religious guy, but he understood the value that religion can have. And that by having something, believing in something bigger than you, having something, okay, you can, what is it? Confucianism, Taoism, all of them, they may not technically be a religion, but they are a philosophical way of life that basically fits in with a lot of the major religions of the world that say treat others as you'd want to be treated.
Right.
And be kind and respectful. Look out for the less fortunate. I mean, a lot of similar beliefs. And so the idea that believing in something bigger than you can actually bring you peace and thus happiness.
I read a book recently about it. It had this as a component, and it was talking about the most successful people and some of the rituals that they put in place in their lives. And it had 4 items. Health, of course, is one of them. But another one was spirituality. That's what he termed it as.
Okay.
And not that you would be a Catholic or a Christian or, a Muslim or whatever. It didn't matter. Religion. In fact, it kind of transcended religion into, if you think about religion, it's really just a set of deeply held beliefs.
Yeah.
Right. That you would live by. And so no matter what that might be. And so it could be based in, a scriptural kind of a text, a holy book per se, or it could be something you've developed, in your life having to do with morals or ethics or whatever. And, or life goals. And so whatever those deeply held beliefs are, right, he was just talking about, the author was talking about how you need to kind of guide everything that you do and the rituals you create in your life so that they are connected to those beliefs. And the people that are able to do that are some of the most successful people in their fields.
Yes. And I think that's kind of maybe what Jung is saying here, is that when you have spirituality, it grounds you. Mm-hmm. And the more grounded we are, well, then the happier it can make us. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, going through preparing for this big test has shed a lot of insight. You know, again, I take these classes, and it's been, because I've been taking only one class at a time, it's taken a few years. So being able to go back and review all this stuff has been kind of enjoyable. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw this, I go, we could make a podcast on it.
I feel like maybe we should share our reading list sometime. Put them out there on a website or somewhere just to say this is what we read, or maybe connect certain books to the podcast, because we always are mentioning these kind of different things. And some people might want to go further and develop some of their own deeply held beliefs or, rituals, or look more into some of these topics. So we'll have to work on that.
I guess so.
Anyway, I think that's all we have for time.
All right. Well, then let's go outside. Enjoy a little nature.
All right.
So, all right. Well, then until next time, I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
Bye.
Bye-bye.